Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Welcome to the Movement, episode 1. I have my guest here, Kevaman. How are you doing today, Kev? We have to pretend that we weren't talking for about 15 minutes there before this started.
I'm doing good. I'm not sure which way I meant to turn to look at you on the stream, but yeah, not too bad. Got
Uh,
mastery today, so in a good mood. How are you
nice.
today?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, just chilling. I'm on the left side, you're on the right side, you know. So, shall we get started? Shall we dive into some topics, some juicy things?
Yeah, I'm ready to talk. Love
Okay,
talking. It's all I
good.
do every day. At twitch.tv Kevaman1.
Yeah, there you go. At twitch.tv.kevaman1. Right. So tell me, Kevin, your early days before League of Legends was invented, when you were just a youngling. What video games did you play? When did you start playing video games?
Oh, that's actually a great question because I was just at a sesh for my cousin's 21st. She's like around the same age as me. She's a couple of months younger. And my cousins actually introduced me to video games. They live like 2 roads down from me, and I discovered that the first video game I ever played was what's that game called where you're like a dog and you're like a rat and you're going around. They told me the name of it, but yeah, it was like an old PlayStation game, I think, or N60. No, it was N64 game, and yeah, that's the first game I ever played. And then I started playing like Conquer's Bad Fur Day, Super Smash Bros. Melee, or just the normal Super Smash Bros. All those kind of console games and fighting games with my cousins, and I used to kick my fucking head in, and I still do. But yeah, then we moved on to PCs when I built mine in fourth year with my half brother. So
Fourth year of like secondary school.
secondary school, yeah, that's when I built my PC. So actually, I played League before that on my laptop. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to
Well,
play on a trackpad in my bed, and I had to sit a certain way with like these pillows behind me if like to play properly. But yeah, before that it was all consoles: Wii, GameCube, N64, PlayStation. I had the like PlayStation 1, but it was like you like popped open the screen with it. It was like a little, it's like a PSP but bigger. It was weird.
yeah.
And you connect a controller to it. But yeah.
Well, actually, it's interesting that you mention, playing League the first time you played League, because that was my next question. It's almost like we have a topic list or something along those lines. So,
Yeah.
tell us this trackpad story. This I've done it only once and never again. Never again. It's
Trackpad.
yeah.
Well, um, yeah, I used to play on a laptop. It's now my mom uses it as a work computer. It is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. I remember I used to play like Ahri only, and because like it's all straight line skill shots, so you just move your mouse there, and then like it was pretty easy to play. You didn't have to do a lot of clicking on Ahri. You just have to hit your skill shots. It's just like 2 clicks and that's it. But yeah, I used to play on my bed. I used to like sit up with my knees like up like this. I can't know if you can see the stream, and I have my laptop up like propped on my legs, and yeah, I used to play on a trackpad. I think I got like plat or something playing on trackpad, and it's like when the old runes and all were there. So you had to like buy. You couldn't play a champion unless you also bought the rune page for them. So it's like IP was so it was like gold dust back then. Now you can just buy every champion whatever the fuck you want. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then I got a mouse, and I still played on my laptop. And then I got my computer and decided to stop being a pistol, and then got Diamond Tier with
Nice.
my once I put a computer together. But yeah, it was scary to think that I played like that. To be honest.
Any laptop gangers in the chat? I'm actually on a laptop right now. Uh, but yeah. So when if you were playing Ari, then presumably you were playing mid. When were you like, okay, that's it. I'm packing up my stuff. I'm going to bot lane. I'm gonna rely on some random. Hopefully he'll be good. Most of the time he won't. When did
Bot
that
lane.
start?
I didn't play bot lane till I was Div 1 in the Irish team. I used to
Oh,
be a mid lane main, and then the first team I was like sick of just playing solo queue. I thought the best way to improve was to be on a team, and I was watching Worlds, and I was getting really into League, and I was getting really competitive. I'm like very competitive nature, or I'm very competitive in nature as a person, and yeah, I was like I just want to play competitive. I want to just play against people. I don't want to be playing solo queue with people typing and like people going AFK and stuff. It's like a huge problem when I started playing. Like people, especially at low elo, just didn't care. Like if they didn't want to play the game, they just stopped playing, which is healthy, I guess. But just kind of ruined the game or the gaming experience. So I started looking for teams to join, and no Guac, a team that I played on. I'm still mates with them. I was actually talking to two of the guys on that team yesterday, and yeah, they put me on the team, but they had a mid laner, so it was jungle or you're not playing, basically. And I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll play jungle. I don't mind. And yeah, it was hotspot GG, and then it became no Guac. And I was just an Italy one trick. I just became an Italy one trick. I was like, okay, I have to learn jungle. I have to impress these guys. I only play Ahri in Italy, so let's just spam Italy. And I know everyone's saying hotspot GG in the chat because it was no Guac when I was on the team.
Was this when Italy was turbo broken? Like,
oh yeah, this is when you auto reset it. You auto reset it on R. You just power cleared like way faster than the other jungler, faster than it was now, and then you just counter invaded, you just fought people all the time. And my 16-year-old hands had mechanics back then, so yeah, I was jungler for them, and I played in Italy and won the first game of G4, G6, like the group stage. It was G4, I think, or G5, and it was permanently banned against me for the rest of the tournaments. No one ever let me play in Italy, and then there was Italy nerfs, and people still didn't let me get in Italy. So yeah, that was back when I played jungle, and then I finally, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, who was on this no Guac team? Was there anybody that we know?
Yeah, well, there was me, Kevaman, and then there was Kako. I'm pretty sure people know who Kako was.
Yeah, I know Kako. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Div 1 before I was on Acer, I think, and which I was super tilted about. And then there was Nuts, and then there was Malteser. She used to be a mod on ILOL page, and I can't remember who the mid laner was because it was Spleen Merchant, or he stole a few. I think he stole someone's name. I can't remember.
He stole someone's spleen, man.
Yeah, that's him. But yeah, I can't remember. He took someone's name in the scene, and then I became mates with that person that he stole. He took Hussy's name. What was Hussy's name back in the day?
Bat
Rastard. He took Bat Rastard. He stole Bat Rastard, and Hussy messaged him, and I remember coming friends with Hussy, and I was like, "Wait, you're Bat Rastard?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm friends with Spleen Merchant," and he was like, "That guy stole my name," and it was so funny.
Okay, let's move on. So after no Guac, this is when you started the SG dynasty, man. The Jacket Kingdom. Is this when you transitioned to ADC, or were you still like flipping it on other roles, so to speak?
Yeah. So SG asked me to do trials with them, and I think I trialed jungle, and then they said they needed trials for ADC, and I was like, yeah, I can play ADC. Because in solo queue at the time, I was like, I used to just play whatever role I thought had the most impact, and ADC was just like the carry role back then. Now it's just, everyone just pisses and shits on you, and you sit there and take it like a bitch. But yeah. It was, I moved, when I was playing for no Guac, I was playing a bit of ADC with Kako because his ADC wasn't playing that much. I wasn't playing that much ADC, so he was like, oh, do you want to just duo loads? And like, me and him were just duoing, and we're like, let's just play bot lane together and kick people's heads in. And yeah, we were just playing bot lane, and then SG were like, hey, do you want to trial for us? I was like, yeah, I'll trial. And I ended up getting a spot as ADC, and I picked the roster as me, Bluebullberry. We just had really good synergy, me and Bluebullberry. Who was the mid? It was Danreb was the mid laner, and it was Slippy top and jungle. I think it was Slippy top, and then we got a guy called Paddy jungle, and yeah, that was our team. And I remember me and Paddy we used to fucking hate each other. So it was so weird back then. It wasn't like kind of the comms you have nowadays in competitive. It was like Kevin Trainer thought that the best way to play was have like one designated Shotcaller to talk about everything in the game, whether it was good or bad, and then we'll learn back. We'll go back and talk about it after the game if it was wrong. And me and him were just constantly arguing because he's a jungler, so he wants to do stuff. But I guess that's probably a trait of mine. No, Paddy was the jungler.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah, continue.
And yeah, Paddy would be like, yeah, we should have done this. And I'll be like, it's just troll or whatever. But like no one would follow his call because it was my call that people were following. So I had all this power in my hands. But he was a bit like wanting to be more of a voice, which is natural for a jungler, right? He wants to shot call early and do things. And I'm a very vocal player, so I kind of like letting people listen to me. But yeah, I'm just perma talking in the games, and the guy was kind of him, and then cost a quarter after that, and every other jungler just hates me, I guess. But yeah, that was it. That's when I started playing ADC.
That one shot caller thing, like High from C9 is like the only person that can do that. I don't even know if Mata on Samsung White did that, like back in the day, because it was a lot of like Mata and Dandy. Like there's like no one can do that. High is like the only person that can do that, and
Yeah,
like it was so damaging to League for like maybe up until like season 6, around that sort of area. People were like, yeah, this is just not doable. There's just communications, and people started coming out in interviews saying, yeah, there isn't any primary shot callers, and people still ask that question: who's the shot caller on your team? Like that. I mean, not to flame interviewers, but that's a dumb question. Like there is no shot callers. You could say who's like the main voice of your team, you know. So say, for example, it's probably Perks in G2, but like, uh, it's silly. It's silly.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I was very of that kind of high background. I used to watch all like those kind of NA streams and stuff, and I thought like that's what you had to do to be better. So like before, it worked well for our team, but like it wasn't. It's not a way to play anymore. Like it's definitely adapted to kind of everybody kind of just throws their opinion, or if they're making a play, they'll just communicate what they can do and how they can back up their teammates. So you just kind of give space for players to do what they want to do or what they know they can do, and tell them what you can help them with, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so there was a point I wanted to hit on there, but we sort of got a bit sidetracked there by High. Love C9, by the way. Makes it kind
Yeah.
of fun. Um, Kevin, aka Bluebullberry, he was a long time like teammate of yours, obviously good friend, and he's went on to have a lot of success similar to you. What did you know like at the start that he would have been able to like reach the heights that he has in the Irish scene, or did you sort of see him as like did you have to have him grow into that role? You know?
Um, no, I think Kev was always a natural born kind of. It's kind of hard to say a leader. Like he's not a leader in a sense where he'll like just 1v9 a game and do things, but he's very like camaraderie and he's just a great teammate. He's almost like just a really good manager that you'd like to have on your
An
team.
emotional leader, so to speak.
Yeah, of course. Like he always made sure that the team environment was good. I was like the number one thing is team environment, and so you can improve, right? Because if you don't have a good team environment, no one's listening to each other, you're not going to improve. So the number one thing was to make sure everyone's on the same page. There's no grudges. There's no bad energy in like scrims or in games. And I think that was like the best thing about Kev. He's also very able to take criticism himself, and he'd be the first person to say that he's shit or he's inting or something, you know. And yeah, when I was playing with him, it was great, kind of having that another person who wants to just improve and knows that there's like a level above them, and always wanting to push above because like we were in Div 2 when we first started, and we knew that that's not where we wanted to be, right? So it was very clear. It wasn't like just a for fun type of guy. He wants to play and like he wants to compete, and he's like, yeah, he's a really good role in that kind of way. So it's kind of no surprise that me and him kind of grew up side by side. I always think that I was a little bit better than Kev, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, he always kind of grew up side by side with me and did really well, especially like, and you can see that in Sligo when they won Estars. That is the same role he played in SG that he played at Sligo, you know, like sorting out scrims, making sure everybody's doing well, like having a good vibe around the team. But like knowing if they're doing bad, what they have to do to improve, not to be upset or negative about it, but to point it out and to fix it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So talking about that like good vibe sort of scenario that Kev brought, is that what got you through SG in Division One? I mean, like no flame, but like you guys didn't do well. But also, I have like so much respect for you guys for always entering those tournaments. Even if you guys would always come last, you'd always go in, you'd always compete, you'd always try your best. You know, like it's something that like I really admired because some people would just like go into Div 1 and just be like, ah, actually this is too hard. I'm gonna go back to Div 2, or like some people don't even like have the aspiration to get better. You know, obviously like Irish scene isn't professional players, so we're not this in the end is only for fun. But like, I guess some people have fun because of the competition, and some people have fun because they're playing with their mates. You know?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it's very good because it contrasts with kind of nowadays with tournaments. It's back then I didn't care what other teams were. I didn't care what other teams were entering. I wasn't looking at any of that stuff. I was just like, I want to be on a team with like the best players that I can be on, or a team that we have synergy that we've built up. We've played so much together. I want to improve. The best way to improve is to play against people that are better than you, right? Naturally. And every time I played a tournament with SG in Division 1, I felt like I improved as a player. I learned stuff off other players. I learned stuff off Voina. I learned stuff off Devils, playing against Blaze, playing against Asterad. All those type of players, I felt like I was learning a lot off of the games I played against them. And I think that was our mentality. I didn't really care if we won or lost. Like, of course, we're trying to place as high as we can, and eventually we just became a third place meme team. And that whole speech against, I can't remember, it was Blaze's team, whatever team it was, Ferocity or NSG, or they're like, you lost to a fucking meme team of Ireland or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that was the thing. Like, we knew that we were a bit of a joke because we weren't placing well, but that wasn't the point of playing. The point of playing was to become better players and to improve and to enjoy the competition, you know? Like, I loved being an underdog. I loved being an underdog. And I loved playing teams that you're trying to upset because you're going to learn stuff. You're going to do stuff better. You get to throw curveballs. You get to try cheesy stuff because you know if you play straight League of Legends, these guys are probably just going to be better than you, right? And yeah, like we had our goals. Our goals weren't to win the tournament every season. And I feel like a lot of teams nowadays get bogged down. They're like, oh, these super teams entering tournaments, what's the point of even entering? They're just going to kick your heads in. And I guess there's a truth in that, but that's not the point of the tournament. It's not to always win. If you actually want to get better, you have to play against these people. Like, it's such a good opportunity as a lower tier player. And that's what I looked at it as. It was an opportunity for me to play against people where I wanted to be and how like I could get there, you know? And every single time I put a lot of effort into like researching the players, seeing what they're doing, trying to like copy their styles and stuff like that, you know? So again, like that was all backed up by Kev and the kind of same gaming background where people were kind of grinding and trying. So yeah.
Yeah. That's a really great mentality to have. Honestly, for myself, I feel like it was sort of the same. I was like always a Division 1 player mostly, except for like that one time that I didn't get any teams, and then I sort of just went to Div 2 for a little bit. And I was like, yeah, actually, I'm out of this. But like, I I feel like if I tried harder, I could have like went to compete in the UK scene. But I never felt like I really wanted to. I don't know. I guess I'm maybe like not as like just driven about doing this sort of competitive thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
of
driven about
course.
other things, but like maybe just not as much League. And also, I want to circle back to the SG meme team just for a
Yeah.
just for context. So I believe they were NSG at that point, weren't they?
I think
Or
they're NSG. I'm very sure they're
well,
NSG, yeah.
it was like the super dominant like ferocity team or whatever, and it was Blood Penguin who's caster
Yeah, Blood Penguin. That's
in
exactly what it
LPL
was.
or whatever.
Yeah.
At the time, he was like a manager or something along those lines, and you guys obviously played a scrim against, or they played a scrim against you, and you guys beat them, and then the
Yeah,
infamous
keep their
copy
heads in.
pasta meme team of Ireland. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, also that's like that's not a great mentality. I mean, I'm sure if you could look into like any team scrims, like people always lose random scrims. They're scrims.
Yeah,
You're there to improve, not
exactly.
to win.
Yeah. I mean,
But
their mentality could be worse as well going into these type of scrims when they think they're better and things like that.
yeah,
But that's a thing to improve on, right? If you're overlooking teams, that's a good thing to do in a scrim instead of an actual game.
yeah. Whimsy is right. Actually, it wasn't Ferocity. It was like the Dano, Dakin, Rengis,
NSG,
NSG.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
so it
yeah,
was NSG. Okay, good. All right, let's talk about Estars. This is where we collide, man. This is our collision.
a
Do you like
little
these
fist bump like just.
Yeah. I do it the wrong way. Okay, I'm terrible at this. I give up. I give up. Yeah, I'm sure you remember this moment too. I think I played a few scrims with you. Like at this point, like I just thought you were bad. You're on SG. And
Yeah,
like we played a few scrims, and I was like, oh shit, this guy's actually good. What?
yeah,
Yeah. So like, is that when you sort of started to feel like you were good? And like, obviously, this is where you met with Munch as well, another longtime partner, of you in the bot lane.
yeah. Of
So
course.
do you want to maybe talk a little bit about E-Stars and just sort of, is this where you've got to your I don't know what the word is. You know what I mean. Everyone knows what I mean.
Yeah. But Estars, well, first thing I want to say about Estars is it was absolutely amazing. And everyone that says like Omegle Estars, it was ship production, like bringing people around Ireland, I thought what they did for the Irish scene was unbelievable. The fact that they brought that much hype to Ireland, the fact that they did it in Ireland in the first place, how they tried their best to balance teams when they knew absolutely nothing about it, how they got help to doing that. I know there was a bit of misbalances somewhere, but for the majority part, it was pretty okay. Maybe some of the bottom teams got hard done by, and some of the top teams were a bit overpowered. But like if you look at Sligo, they weren't an overpowered team and they won, right? So I thought they did pretty okay with the balancing. But yeah, when I was going into Estars, the first thing I heard was Gold 3 jungler, and we have Moo and Munch. And I was like, I know Moo, he's good. Munch looks amazing. And I've played with Hawkins, and Hawkins is decent. I was like, hey, this is an okay team. Our jungler is a bit yikes, but I was excited about the team. Another thing I did was I called the girl who was the manager of Sligo and Bray. Oh, I can't remember her name. Aoife, yeah. And I said, can I play for Sligo? Because sure, SG, Kev was there. And I heard that Voina dropped out. He didn't want to play for Sligo. And I was like, yeah, I'll hop in there if I can. So I asked her and ended up getting denied, which sucks because I would have just taken that bag home, I guess, in the long run. But no, and I was just like, there's like a kind of a negative vibe around Bray because I heard like Munch didn't want to play, you didn't want to play. And I was super psyched. I was like, I'm ready to play. I'm more than happy to play and to prove myself because that was kind of the tournament to do it, right? I was slowly creeping up, catching up with Devils and Voina. And this is a tournament to kind of shine. And I think that's what we did. Like, I remember coming out week 1 and week 2. We were really well synergized as a team. Munch was teaching me a lot. I was definitely not the best player on the team, but I learned a lot because of just being in the bot lane with Munch.
Yeah, for context about this, like, this was before Munch was, best support in Ireland. No one can contest him. This is like, Estars was like directly after like QCon 2018, I think, and like Munch came second to Frosty, which I was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he wasn't like considered like best support player of the tournament. So like I think this is where Munch like also started to hit his like he started going up the hill. Not necessarily his peak because I thought he was always good, but this is when he reached the hill, the top of the hill or whatever, and there's more to climb, obviously. But yeah, exactly. There's a word.
Yeah,
I can't think of it. But
I remember that QCon really well because I was pissed hungover with Costa Corda. It was like the first time they all got me to drink. I was like never really drank when I was a kid, so it's like 17 or 18 at the time, and they got me fucking sloshed. But I remember coming forth in that, and I saw you guys playing. I watched the finals on the way home. We drove home. We're like, fuck this. We're not staying here to watch it. We'll watch it on the phone on the way home. And yeah, I was a kid back then, and I was like, wow, that finals went really bad for I think it was whatever team Munch was on because they brought imports over and they lost, right? So
yeah, that's when Travis entered the scene as well, if I'm correct.
Oh, was he playing in that tournament?
They had, I'm forgetting his in-game name, but his real name is Lynham. Default, that was it. They had Default, Goose, Travis, Museums, and Munch as their roster. And yeah, I think that was the best tournament I played, followed directly by the worst tournament I played in Estars. So
but yeah, me and Munch, like I saw you guys playing, and I knew that I could get there. At that stage, I was like, I'm getting there. All it is practice. I'm getting there slowly. I just need to keep grinding. And Estars, I was so motivated for. Like you could see with the amount of scrims every team was playing, and how available I was for Estars. I was like every week with you guys. I was like, yeah, let's play. I want to play. I need to get better. Like I remember before our semifinals against Rovers.
Dano's team, yeah, Rovers.
Yeah, I played 13 hours, 14 hours a league a day, like for that whole week before the game, because I was like Caitlin's meta, and last time I played her, I went 0-6, and it was a meme. And yeah, I honestly think that me and Munch's progression in that tournament was insane. Like I think we were probably the best bot lane in that tournament for sure.
For sure. Like the problem with Estars, like it's not that the teams were unbalanced, it's that the roles were unbalanced. Because like if you have a weak mid jungle, I mean, this is not like targeting specifically our team, but just like any team at all, like you're gonna do bad. I mean, look at literally any competitive team. Like what competitive teams do good without good mid jungle?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's Royal Never Give Up, and that's the only one. And they've never won Worlds. They've never come semis. Like they won LPL once, and they had like I think it was bot centric meta that time. I can't remember. I'm sure Whimsy.
Yeah, it was a lot of like Juggernaut and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like unless it's like Ardent meta or Juggernaut, like it's mid jungle every game. So like that was the primary problem. They just didn't understand like how to balance roles, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, you could see it in the tournament as well. Like, Rengus was going up against, like, Kexius, and he just locked Cho'Gath, and, like, supports were just locked Brom, and there was just nothing you could do about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, and also like Sligo, the winners. I mean, Dakin. I'm trying to think of the other junglers in this tournament. He's probably the best jungler,
Yeah, there was Dakin, Goose,
and
Costa
Ray.
Corda was kind of swapping
Koshikora was
around
top laner.
Ray.
Yeah,
Yeah, he played jungle a few games, though.
and
But yeah, it's mostly Goose.
and also they had Johnny or Dragonship mid lane. Now I played a lot with Johnny. I think he's insane. I think he's so good, and the only reason that he's not like, you know, like master tier, grandmaster tier, whatever, is because he doesn't want to play. He doesn't care. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
That's
I
a
don't know if
five
you've
around him.
ever
Like,
played with him,
he's a really
but
smart gamer, yeah.
yeah, he's so good. It's insane. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so talk to me a little bit about your improvement in league. Like after this tournament, like is this when you started like hitting like D1 master that sort of area?
Oh, geez, hell no. I think I was stuck D4, D5 for the next 2 seasons. You can just look at my OPWG. I can't remember when was that convention in town, the GamerCon?
Oh, GamerCon. Yeah, that
Was that
was
after Estars?
no. That was before Estars. That was before
Oh,
Estars. Yeah,
when
GamerCon
was Estars?
was a doozy. Estars was I think it was early 2019. It was May.
I was in college. Yeah, I was in college for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I was in first year of
Maybe it was
college.
2018. I'm not
Yeah, I
actually
think it
too
was
sure.
2018.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was in my
it was
first year of
2018.
college.
It was 2018.
But yeah, I don't know. I presume that's when I got better.
Yeah.
I think because I remember in sixth year I just didn't play the game. I got D4 and just sat on it, and my OP.G looks terrible because of it. But yeah, because I was climbing in fifth year I was like D4 and I was climbing, and then season 7 it was just a slump, and then season 8 that was the Estars year. Yeah, that's when I was Diamond 5 again. But I think I was peaking higher that season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was probably getting better just around after Estars.
Yeah.
Probably not as fast as I wanted to, but I was kind of gating myself with my mentality. Like, I thought that being the difference between D5 0 LP and like D1 was huge back then.
Definitely.
So like I felt like really struggle. I really struggled to get out of D5 when it was a thing. Now it's dead and buried, thank God. But like people used to just boost people to D5 0 LP. You get really stuck in there. Especially if you had like poor mentality, and I definitely do have poor mentality. I still suffer from poor mentality, where like you just throw games because you're tilted. And I think I spent like a good year or like a season probably just stuck because of that, you know. So yeah, but after that, like I definitely improved. Like I was getting better mechanically and kind of like learning the meta quicker and stuff like that, like keeping up to date with stuff, researching stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm here, kind of pushing harder than I ever have and getting better a lot quicker. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your most dominant period, the collegiate tournaments. Obviously, like the level of competition is low because it's like obviously rendered to people who are in college. You know, it's in the name. But like what are your takeaways from like I mean you've won like what like 4 in a row or something like that. It's too many to go over like individually.
Yeah.
So like what are your main takeaways from just playing collegiate?
Well, my kind of goal with collegiate was I just wanted to play league when I went into first year of college, and I remember I was in a nightclub. I made a page. There's no org or there's no like society for esports in UCD. It's all like this game sock. It's just they just play board games and it's really cringe. But they're kind of adapting now. Like when I first joined, I was like, oh god, what is this? And yeah, we adapted a little bit and it was getting a lot better. Like more people were kind of looking to play, but like the team I set up, I made a Facebook page called UCD League of Legends. All my friends took the piss out of me, and I found 5 people, just 5 people. Oh no, 4 people, and we had to get John. We had to get Mute in as our sub from DIT because we couldn't find a 5th person in UCD. Like the whole of UCD, we could only find 4 people that played League of Legends, including me. So that was like our first competition, and like I was me, a guy in my course called Wyman, everyone knows Cramp, like,
Yeah.
and Vic saw my post online and was like, he called me, and I was in a nightclub, and I was like, hey, what's the crack, man? And he was like, hey, I want to join your League of Legends team, and I was like, man, I'm pissed drunk right now. I'll text you in the morning about the team, but I'll be delighted to put you on it, like, no matter what rank you are, we just don't have any players. And I think that's why he wanted to play the most, so, because he kind of loves that vibe. And then I met Costa Corda by the lake in UCD, and I was like, Jesus, how are you, Costa? And Yeah, I remember. I basically brought Costa Corda and all that memeage to the Irish scene, so you're all welcome, by the way.
Yeah.
Everyone that uses Farmer Wallop, that was because of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that, and then we came second somehow, because Costa Corda was a German scene diamond to Sejuani OTP and hard carried our team. And I can't remember who our support was. We put Yo or something support at the start, was it? Or I can't even remember. I can't even remember who played where. I think I played mid. I think Costa played jungle, I played mid. I was learning mid. We put Kexi as top, and then we had John as our support. And Wonin came into the scene for a while. Yo was there. But yeah, the main core was kind of just me, Costa, and Victor. And then Costa dropped out of college, so we had to go to Estars without him, or to UEM without him. But we figured out after UEM that he actually probably could have played under UCD because he was still paying fees, but he wasn't going to college. It was weird, like.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, those situations are always quite weird. So, like,
yeah.
Talk to me about when, like, Munch joined the team. Is this when you were just totally uncontested?
Yeah, so the year Munch joined, we were like, oh, well, this is it now. We can actually play bot lane. Cramp can learn mid because he was motivated to play mid instead of ADC, even though he's probably better ADC than me. I think we found Hanash around the same time that Munch joined as well. So, like, we were just this team. It was such a bunch of misfits of a team. Like, it was me and Munch. Cramp, who just wanted to play random shit mid on, like, he plays on, like, these unknown accounts. And, like, I'm pretty sure he tried to demote an account to Iron 4. He was demoting accounts to Iron 4 to sell them. Like, he had a strat to lose games. And Hanash just didn't speak on a mic. Like, if you could make a weirder team, like, go ahead and try. And, like, we just won everything. We were just good players, you know? So we knew what to do on the map. There wasn't much speaking, much communicating. It was kind of just me and Costa talking. And Munch just roaming around. And me just 2v1ing bot lane because I could just pay Ezreal or Caitlyn or something and just sit in my tower. So, yeah, it was kind of like a weird play style. Looking back on it, it probably wasn't great of an environment to improve on. Like, it was cool winning all this stuff, like, honestly, and going to UEM. But I think honestly got my hopes up too much of that team to kind of like progress and become like an actual strong team because we all kind of had different goals, you know. Like Costa doesn't really like playing League, Munch doesn't really like playing League, you know. People just don't want to play, which is like completely fine. Like, you know, not everybody wants to become like Faker, win like 17 different world championships. But yeah, I think we had such a strong team, like potentially. And that's why we did so well, right, in the scene. But like it was crazy how well we did for like how little practice and how little kind of effort as a team we did to kind of improve. We were just kind of at like such a level that the collegiate tournament was kind of below. So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, like I feel like collegiate's sort of like the best place to discover new players because like unless you're just like creeping around on Facebook all the time, which isn't like nobody's really creeping around on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, not anymore anyway.
Facebook's a bit dushed, but like it's just so hard to like there's no like community league thing. I remember back in the day there was like an Irish LOL team speak as well that everyone would go into and you chat to mutuals. It was more like a social hub. But now it's sort of like, oh yeah, you're in a Discord with your friends and you can make your own Discord. Like there's obviously advantages and disadvantages to these things, but like there was a much more like community aspect back in the day, so to speak. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, let us move on from TeamSpeak. Let's talk about Rivalry. The one I played in. You know the one.
The one we won or the one I lost?
the one we won. We're not talking about the one we lost. I don't even know what one that was.
Yeah, fuck the one we lost.
Yeah, we'll forget about that. Tell me about this rivalry because like this I am so sad this tournament did not get streamed. Like the final did not get streamed. I genuinely think this was the hypest best of 5 in all of Irish League of Legends. Like
for sure.
We were proper underdogs going in. We had John mid, like Moot mid, who is not a mid laner by trade. Yeah, against Dano. He's a support by trade. And like John hadn't been playing the game at this point. And like we had a bunch of like maybe underrated is the word, apart from yourself, on our team. And yeah, just tell me about what you thought, what your perspective was on that tournament.
Oh, I just wanted to kick their heads in. Like I was at the stage in my career where I was like, I need to start playing on better teams because the teams I'm playing on, it's like at the start, like SG and stuff, people wanted to improve, and like at the stage it was at with that team, it was kind of turning to the people that I usually play league with, and the people I usually play on teams with. They've kind of moved on in their lives and want to do other things. And I'm maybe, as sad as it sounds, like I want to become better. Like I want to play in UK, I want to play in NLC and stuff like that. You know, like that's the dream for me. And yeah, like I just really wanted to show that. Like, and I really hate how people like disrespected us. I knew that they lost their games that day, so they're kind of tilted. And I was kind of getting tilted that these teams were kind of overlooking me and thinking like, oh, well, he just plays for SG, he's just going to play with Kev or whatever bot lane. I didn't really know what their opinions were of me because I was never very BM. Like I was always very hardworking, especially when I was younger in the scene. I'm probably way more BM now, but when I started like playing on the top teams and getting a bit of an ego, but
man, like let me take a sidebar on this. Being BM is fun. I don't know why people don't like this BM. Like, I think it's sort of like the culture creep from North America that sort of came over and like I don't want to use the word infected because that's a bit too strong, but like sort of influenced us because like banter and shit, it's hilarious, you know. Like during the Estars tournament, I would just purposely trash talk people for no reason. I was playing terrible, but I didn't care. I wanted to make it entertaining, you know. It's just entertainment.
Course,
it's just banter. People don't take this stuff. I mean, maybe people do take this stuff seriously.
Yeah, some people take it to heart for sure. Like,
but like I don't say it seriously. I'll call everyone trash, you know. Like it's like,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And I'm bad. Like I'm really bad, man. Like
that's what makes it funny, though. That's the entertaining part of it, you know.
Yeah. Like, well, what do you think of like just sort of trash talking in esports in general? This is a bit of a sidebar, but like, what's your like opinion on that? Because
I think it's a really weird thin line in esports because a lot of people are very, very sensitive. Like a lot of online people are very, very sensitive, and it's kind of their kind of safe haven where they come. And then there's people that are just, especially Irish people, we love crack, like we love banter. There's nothing better than like cost a quarter ganking your lane and like missing a key, like 7 keys on Carthus and typing question mark in chat. Like it's like that's just funny, you know. But like it's kind of it's hard. The timing of trash talking is so tough with how it changes all the time. People are like, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. I think a lot of it could be really negative. Like you see what happened with Vayne God and that Norwegian guy. Like,
I don't know if I could call that trash talking.
Yeah, I mean, well, he said like, yeah, that was trash talking. That was just plain mean. That's not really trash talking.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's crazy.
Harassment
like,
is the word I would use, but
yeah, but
we won't talk about that.
It's like harassment on two sides, but if you look online, only one side gets punished. You know, I think that's the problem of online and BMing. Like, if you take it a step too far, or people take it the wrong way, they'll take it a step too far. And like the way it's dealt with can be pretty poor because it's like orgs and stuff aren't big enough to stand on their 2 legs and say something. They'll say like whatever the people want them to say. The people that watch their shit want them to say.
Yeah.
Or like whatever they want them to do. So like whoever has kind of more traction, it's kind of like, yeah, it's like Rangus is saying in chat. Like it's just like cancel culture kind of, but like in esports. It's like if they don't like you and you trash talk and people take it the wrong way, it's like good luck getting on a team.
Yeah. Like the way is like you can't just go and like just flame a random person, but like say you have like a thing like Estars, everyone's like a big community, you know, like you're doing it with people that are your peers, so to speak. Not, I don't really know what this term punching down means, but you don't want to do that, you know.
Yeah.
And like also like I genuinely think that like these like sort of things or whatever should have like groups where they just like organize trash talk because like it's not for each other, it's for the fans, you know. It's supposed to be entertaining, it's to give a thing for people to care about, you know.
It creates rivalries and stuff as well, you know.
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
love to see, like really creates a sense of competition.
Yeah, like it's way more entertaining watching like G2 Fnatic because like Perks flames them all the time, you know. Like
yeah,
it's hilarious. And like same with like that's why the TSM CLG rivalry was so big back in the day because they were just trash talking each other nonstop. But there's like there's none of this anymore, you know. And like I suppose they want to go to a more professional brand, but I'm not a sports expert for sure. Like I haven't played a single sport in my life apart from like I played badminton a little bit, but that doesn't really count, does it?
It definitely does.
Like even in sports like things, there's loads of trash talking, you know. And I haven't personally seen The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan thing, but apparently he was trash talking people nonstop in that as well.
Oh, that age of basketball was all trash. I think America is very big in their trash talk.
They
But if you
were.
look at like, I don't know, like Premiership football and stuff, it's like, I think that's the mentality. It's like I'm definitely with your side of it. That's kind of my take on it. But like UK and trash talk just don't mix.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Premiership football, it's like everything has to be nice. Whatever if the fans are kicking their heads in or like people are arguing in Twitch chat, like that's the rivalry that's kind of being bought between the teams. But like the players don't have that kind of rivalry anymore. Like
Yeah.
if you look at Premiership like 10 years ago, like David Beckham and like Roy Keane, like or yeah, it was Roy Keane like kicking people, like headbutting people. Like he didn't like the teams he was playing against because it's a competition. But I don't know. I feel like that's kind of dead and buried in sports. It's all about who the better team is, professionality, and like building your brand as a nice person. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of like the trash talk element of it. I think it makes.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. Like it makes it more exciting. It creates rivalries. It pushes you as a person if you're competitive as well. Like fuck, this guy called me. Like this guy was just like spam emoting in chart. Not even that. Like just saying like, what the fuck are you doing? Question mark when you're like trying to gank him. Like of course you're gonna like want to path better and like learn better ways to kill him like next game. You know. So I don't know.
Like, so just to qualify this statement, because people like to take things out of topic, we are not advocating for bullying and harassment. We're advocating for fun trash talk that's kept between the game. Like, you don't just go,
About the game, yeah,
yeah,
not
about the
like
game. You don't just go and like insult someone's mother or something like that. You just tell them, oh yeah, you can't lane, your like rotations are bad. Obviously it's just random bad trash talk.
yeah, your rotation's bad, man.
Yeah, man.
Fuck you. You missed 2 minion waves on that top tower, and
Now,
we still got the dragon.
I just realized I have actually just become a hypocrite because my first interview I just said that Joe's hair was shit. So
yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean. Like it's like
I do know what you mean, though.
like I actually
That's...
no, I'm not a hypocrite. I told him before that yeah, I'm gonna insult your hair, man. I hope you're okay with that. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm
Yeah.
not a hypocrite. I'm absolved. Whatever. Okay. So finally, let's move on to UK scene. What's the future with that, man? How's that going?
Well, during this interview, I got a message from VaneGod, and he's made a team with
Spoiler.
he's made a team with Dano and Rengus. I'm not sure who their jungler is going to be, but yeah, they're looking to play the UKEL qualifiers in a few weeks, and I'm playing trials. I play trials with the Cedia Gaming. I turned them down. And I'm playing them with Void Esports right now with Mark Gaffo. And it's very dependent on whether Mark Gaffo is my support, if they offer me whether I'm going to take it or not. So Mark Gaffo, say yes, please, for the love of God. And yeah, we're like looking to play UKEL qualifiers. So it's going to be interesting with all the Irish people playing UKEL now. It's kind of like we've kind of like people that are like really pushing themselves in the Irish scene are kind of looking towards that. I think I saw Blank playing some scrims with people as well. I'm not sure if they were for UKEL qualifiers as well. I was like stalking him. But yeah, like I really want to get in there because I feel like Irish players, and I said it to the orgs, I said it to Isidia because I mean some of their players, like there is a Plat 1 player on their team, or like, and he's D4 Plat 1, and I'm like, seriously, there are 3 master tier supports in Ireland. Why are you not even asking them? Can you not go on All Pros and search up like people that are on the list and not on teams? But like I think they're overlooking Irish players. The only reason I'm getting looked at is because I was told that in the in-houses people recommended me from in-houses, which I was really surprised about. But I guess that's one of my viewed clips on Twitch. It's like, give me the Fanta, I'm going in. So yeah,
I mean, like anything in the world, like it's sort of all about connections, Like
exactly,
it's kind of a shame that like you can make a name for yourself, but like oftentimes it is the connections you have, and like this is especially a thing that like rings true to me because like I want to be in the film business, like I want to be making movies and well, not so much movies. I prefer TV, but like that's heavily connection based, and really like everything you could do is just connection based. So it's good in a way that League there's a way to prove yourself because there's this solo queue ladder. You don't have to abide by anyone. All you have to do is just grind out and get to the top.
Yeah, I love that part of solo queue, and it's the same. That in the UK scene, it was like, yeah, like I was just trying to play. I was trying to prove myself, and they put me in like tier 3 scrims. Like all the people were below me in rank, and I'm just like, why can't I play in tier 2? Like I remember one of the scrims BB Muffin was playing, and the whole UK team that was on my side of the scrim got so tilted. They were like, oh, BB's meant to be off-rolling because he's not meant to be in this kind of tier category for the in-houses. It's not fair. Like he's gonna kick our heads in, and like our mid laner got giga camped, and he's like, oh, BB Muffin just always asks for the mid laner to camp him because he like that's what he does. And I was like, well, that's a fine strategy to play if he's going to carry the game, you know? You can't be upset with someone playing a certain way if you can't beat it. So it was kind of a bad mentality, and I didn't really want to play with those guys in in-houses, but like I wanted at the same time to prove that I was good enough to be better than where they were, and I have a better mentality. And I was trying to be really positive as well. Like I'm trying to like I don't want to make any enemies in the UK scene. I know it's kind of dangerous. I still don't want to be, you know, a big pushover and not like speak my mind. So like I'll be like, hey man, you can't just be getting upset over it. But like they're just tilted. They like, but that's the mentality, and that's why they're in tier 3, right? So, yeah. But like I pushed myself in those. I thought I proved myself really well in those in-houses. And same with the trials I'm doing. Like the CDA team, I loved them. I loved the org. I thought the guys were super nice. I'd love to join the team, but realistically, it's business, right? I can't join that team if I don't think that they're going to win UKEL. Like the qualifiers, let alone UKEL. Like they have a bottom mid-table team of UKEL if they're in it right now. I don't think they'll win the qualifier if there's any decent teams in it. So I was like, well, I'm getting trials for this other team and they have way better players. I'd rather try to do the trials with your team than play for this team. Because even if I take your team and the other team like are playing, they're just going to beat us, right? So if I don't get on that team, what's the point of playing your team? But I kept it very civil. I told like I turned it down like really professionally. And the guy asked me to Discord call and tell him like legitimately why I was not playing, and he took it really well. He liked what I was saying. He thought it was professional of me like to put it down professionally without like BMing anybody. I didn't want to BM any of the players at a skill level that like they're all trying to improve, and I mentioned that I was like these guys like some of them are really trying to improve, and some of them are just playing in the tournament because that's the tournament they play in. And I think that's a really big problem for the players. I don't want to be on a team with people that are like at a level and they're comfortable at that level. I don't want to be comfortable. Like I want to push myself past my comfort zone because that's when you kind of improve. But like some UKEL players, that's where they play. Like I want to play UKEL because I play UKEL every year. I want to play Rivalry because I play Rivalry every year. You know, like it's for fun. It's not improving, and they're very stagnant. Yeah. But yeah, my development in the UK scene has been positive because of that. Like I think people took how I kind of held myself in houses and in my trials very well. Like the Acedia org said they'd be back to me if they're making a team for UKLC. If they get into UKL, they'll be asking for me, stuff like that, which I was like, yeah, perfect. Like I don't want to not have an opportunity to be on these teams because I turned you down. It's just right now I don't think it's the best choice for me. And I think they respect that. And yeah, like I think UK scene is going really well for me right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just to jump off that topic, like I think it's a great thing for the like whole promotion relegate. Now, it's going to take a while for me to get there. It's not even really going to take a while. Basically, my point is, I think you could take 5 Irish players and you could win UKEL. You could promote through UKEL and win the whole thing. Like, there's this copy pasta from our academy coach of the UKLC, or it's like, oh yeah, I tuned into UKEL. It was entertaining if you like kills, but there's not really that much strategy involved or whatever. I mean, like, I don't know what like if there's mandatory to have a coach, but like I haven't done coaching personally myself, but like there's such a big difference between having a good coach and having a bad coach. Like, because no flame on anyone, but I have personally had bad coaches before, and then when I see like, you know, Reclamation and Ferndog in like the Munster Rugby thing, they're insane. Like they're so good. I actually like I want to commend Reclamation as well. He did so well with the UK LC team. Like it was insane how they made it to finals. They could have won finals as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent as well.
No, yeah.
What do you think in regard to like just 5 Irish players going through UKEL? Or let me phrase it betterly. Pick 5 Irish players for your team to win UKEL.
I mean, it's happened. You don't have to theory craft. So,
like, I mean, like there was the team? One that Munch, Dakin, and BB Muffin won, but I don't know if I count that because like Dakin had to drop out because of that famous meme, and they just got like a challenger, 600 LP challenger. Like this is a full Irish team. We're talking full Irish here.
I mean, if you took that team and replaced Aether with Me or Vain God and Jungle with like Dakin didn't meme around or whatever, I'm sure they would have won that. And they weren't even taking it seriously. Like they weren't even practicing, and they were kicking people's heads in, and they were getting a bit complacent. And Costa was coaching them. But right now, if you got a team all Irish, It'd be tough because there's no junglers in Ireland, but
It's pretty much just
who would
Zeems,
you got? You got Rengus, Zeems, Dano, or BB Muffin, whichever.
Yeah.
And then me or Vayne God, or Blank. Probably me or Vayne God because we don't get our accounts permaban to KEKW. But or that's Nesty. True.
If you're doing that one, then you sort of have to rule off Vanguard because he just did get banned from UKEL.
Oh yeah, sure, he can't play.
So, well,
then I'm number one choice, I guess. I don't know, but but I mean, Rengus likes that. That's the thing. Like but like if you had to pick, if you just picked the top Irish players based on rank today, it'd be like Rengus, Dano, Zeems, me, Mark Gaffo, and we would not we just win that tournament.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with, what was the team? Was it that they played with Vector?
Viperio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure Viperio won, and the next year they did shit, and it was like, well, they didn't actually do anything last year. Like, 5 players just went to them and said, we'll play as 5. Okay. But yeah, and then Costa was the coach. So if you have to get an Irish coach, like, just get Costa.
Yeah.
Because he gels well with Rengus. He gels well with Rengus, right? So they'd take it more seriously with the drafts and stuff. We'd have really good drafts because I think some of the drafting in the UK, like I've had some of the coaches in the teams that I trialed for, and it's like, you can tell when they're like they don't know that much, about certain drafts, and which coaches like know a lot. Like I remember the team that I trialed for, I think the team that I turned down, even though they had worse players, they had a better draft ideas, because the coach guy was really into it. Like he's a plat player, but like he's really really into watching like tournaments like LEC, LCK, LPL, seeing what's strong, and then adapting that to whatever champions you play. And then the team I'm playing on now, it's kind of like, okay, draft started. Let's talk about draft. It's like, I have 30 seconds to ban a champion. Why haven't we prepared for this,
Yeah, that happens so much. It really frustrates me. Like, draft is so important.
It is, yeah. It's such a waste of time in scrims, but like I think it's just because they're doing trials. They don't really care that much. They're like, just play whatever the fuck you want. But
that's fine for trials. But like another thing about draft is like the problem with it is like this global meta think that is like again, it's been a thing basically since like Korea was number 1 in the world, and everyone was like copy Korea. Like I'm not even messing. You should never ever ever do global meta thinking. Even if you have the 5 best players in the world, you should play what you're best at, like with the meta influencing that, So say like
for sure.
Say a champ's like a 20% win rate, but it's your best champ. Like you shouldn't pick that, obviously, but like the champs that are good, you should weigh them against the champs that are meta, And if something is super perma broken, you obviously have to pick it. But like if everything is sort of like a relatively even scale, then you should pick the things that you're best at. And like this is even just talking about like highest level play. Like when you're playing in like UKEL or even UKLC, pick whatever the fuck you want. It really doesn't matter. Well, what do you think in like regard to that? Would you agree?
I mean, to an extent. I mean, I think LS touched on that a lot. I've been watching a load of LS videos, and it's like Aphelios was like a broken champ 200 years, and then he was like, well, he gets his flamethrower and he kills everybody, and he gets his chakram and he kills everybody. His auto attack range isn't that large with those 2 weapons. You're drafting 5 short, like mid to short range champions into him, and he's just auto attacking you all to death. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I thought my internet died there.
Oh yeah, go
on. Like he kills everyone because they're short range team comps, right? Like the meta is going long range now. It's like playing Caitlyn, Ashe, like things that are good into Aphelios, and he just doesn't seem as broken. I know he got nerfed into the ground, but like you can draft around things, and that's exactly like there shouldn't be a meta. And I think that's actually happening right now. If you look at LCK, LPL, and LEC, like the only 3 regions that matter, like you can see there's huge differences in the draft. And like if you watch LS's like play-by-play that he does on it, like he'll say like some stuff is fucking retarded that teams are doing. Like I think Fnatic or like G2 Fnatic, I think they banned like Caitlyn Callista or something. I can't remember. And he was like, why the fuck are they banning those 2 champions? But like it's what they obviously they know more from scrims, like this is what they're comfortable playing. They can't play against it. And that's exactly what I think is a positive thing to do, like play what you're good at. But like there's still like fundamentals to draft that you need to do. Like you can't draft like if all your best champions are AD, you can't draft that. If you have no CC, you can't draft that. But in essence, what you're saying, I think, is really true. And it's how you like peak as a team, right? It's how you find your best kind of style. Because all players have different types of styles. And like LPL right now, they'll pick any supportive mid. They'll pick like Galio, Karma, and they'll just roam around the map and enable like their side lanes. And that's just their style of play. That's what they enjoy to do. You don't see that in LEC ever. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Did you get GBM'd
So
there?
have you?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am well.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, like just a, I want to touch on a little small thing. I'm really happy LS popularized. Plop. English is too
Yeah.
hard, man. Like that
You'll get
word, the lost by shopkeeper thing, because there's so many. Like it's not even like the Morello Leandri thing, which is obviously like a thing that he did the math on. But like there's so many like egregiously bad buys in like just professional play, or even like just like in general competitive play. I don't know if you saw the C9 game. I think it was against TSM. I can't remember. No, it was against TL, and Licorice was playing Shen, and he bought Frozen Heart, and like I turned this on, and I was like, am I missing something? Have I stopped watching League for? Did they rework this item? It was just, thank you, bless LS for lost by
Yeah.
shopkeeper. Any LS
Yeah.
subs in the chat?
I think that's a huge coaching job as well. Like I would be looking at items that pro players do, and I actually got hit in the face by a coach that I was playing, the team I was playing for. I think it was Resolve before they won UKEL. I was like playing for them for a while before they got into UKEL, and the coach was like, "Why the fuck are you doing this? Like, why are you taking PTA on Lucian when Lucian was like really strong bot lane before he became a shit champ and a sinner champ?
Yeah.
Like he was like my best champ at the start of this season, and he was like, "Why are you taking PTA?" He's like, "I did the maths. Like, Conqueror is stronger past level 3. So unless you're killing them level 2 or 3, why aren't you taking Conqueror?"
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I started playing Conqueror Lucian, and like everyone was memeing me. Like Cost and all, like this guy's just retarded, right? But it was like a way of thinking. He's like, why are you buying this item? Why are you going to summon your spell? Like, why are you using abilities? Like, it's kind of just like stop like autopiloting and like seeing like, because that's what I do with builds. I'll never look research builds. I'll just like autopilot, go u.gg pro builds, what are they doing? And he's like, those guys can be fucking retarded sometimes,
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm way more careful when I go on pro builds as well now. Like I'll look and I'll see what the best people are doing, why they're doing it, and if I can't see why, then it's probably not a good reason,
Yeah.
So yeah, he really makes, like, I think he made a great point to me, and I think like LS is like the king of that, right? Where it's like people don't know everything about the game. There's so much more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like players don't have the highest league IQ, but they're like maybe the mechanically best, but they don't necessarily have the best IQ based on the game,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, people have like strengths and weaknesses regarding League.
Yeah.
I mean, like you could say LS's like strengths or whatever would be like drafting and like item builds, and that sort of thing. I wouldn't. I don't watch too much
Yeah.
LS. I only really watch them like for the co-streams. Just Flames NA because it's funny. But like certain people
Yeah.
have strengths and weaknesses. This is like every player, Like take for example Uzi. Like he's, I mean, rest in peace Uzi. But like a hard carry
True.
player like that, you wouldn't want him to play weak side. So like you just have to consider the strengths and weaknesses for each thing. Yeah, like as I was saying that, I realized that was a really obvious statement. Maybe it's not an obvious statement. I don't know.
No, but like
Ask
it
Licorice.
does matter. It's like I think people do that. Like people presume that I presume pro players knew everything. Like that's why they're up there. That's why they're so good. Like they don't. A lot of like if you look at pro players like 4 years ago and pro players now, I'd say there's a huge gap between those players and what they know.
Yeah.
Like people like the LoL like player base as a general have just gotten better by playing the game over the years.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
learning more fundamentals. So like yeah, I think that's a huge, and like you see it in real sports as well. Like you'll see like a really good basketball player. He's probably like, I don't know, someone who's playing at post and he's like really tall, really good at rebounding, stuff like that. Not going to be good against a guy who's running past him. Not going to be able to mark a post guard or a point guard. Probably maybe has low basketball IQ. Like a lot of people that have really, really good basketball IQ are either like point guards or guards and stuff. Like a lot of some posts have really good like basketball IQ, but like that's a thing about the game. It's a strength and a weakness is your IQ of the game.
Yeah.
Like what's good, what can you do, how can you manipulate stuff,
Yeah.
And that's like problems like on the spot, fast problem solving, and not a lot of players have that. Some of them have like really good mechanics. They can follow calls.
Yeah.
But like that's why there's natural shot callers and like main voices on teams because they're just stronger at that, They just have a stronger IQ of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I just want to specify, Kevaman is not saying that he is better than current pro players, but what he is saying is that you should not take the pro players' word as gospel. You know, they are people like everyone else. They're fallible. You know. So right. Let's move on. Do you have any particular topics that you want to? And sorry, while Kevaman thinks of a topic, I have one topic as well left to go. So maybe you think of a topic, I'll ask you that topic, and if Twitch chat you want to put in some questions, and I'll read them out to Kevaman after these two topics. That
I
was
pick a topic.
Yeah, you pick a topic.
Oh God.
I have one ready if you want one ready
Yeah,
to throw
go.
out.
I have no idea.
Who who do you think like your biggest rival is in the AD carry position? It doesn't necessarily have to be an Irish player because like it could be a UK player that you sort of looked into UKEL and you're like, oh, this guy's good. I mean, picking Dragdar would be a cheap one because he's definitely not going to be UKEL this player, or at least I fucking hope not. He's way too good for that. But yeah. Anyway, pick a like actually it doesn't even necessarily have to be an AD carry player. Pick any player that you think is your rival.
My rival.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like based on this year, probably like blank. Just because it's kind of like an artificial, or it wasn't artificially. Like it was a made rivalry from other people. They're like, oh, Kevaman, this guy's coming from EUNE, and he's like really really good and shit. And we kind of became rivals in all our games. Like people were kind of watching bot lane, like who's going to come out on top, blank Kevaman. Like I had better teams than he did at some point. He had better teams than I did at some point. But people always wanted to see how our matchup went. So like that's like the first thing that comes to mind as my rivals.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, like my biggest rivals were definitely Voina and Devils, and like I was coming up as a player. I used to, every time I played against them was like an opportunity to improve and to prove myself and try to beat them like really really bad. I remember me and Kev solo killed Voina and Blaze bot lane, and I was like screaming in my room like, that was my biggest rivalry. They probably thought I was nobody, but yeah. Right now, probably blank. I mean, I check Vanegod's profile every second day to see if he's in D1 or Master Tier because every second day he changes, but every 2 hours he changes. But I mean, I never really play. Me and like Vanguard never really contest the same teams and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way. We're never like playing against each other or like contesting the same spot for something. We're never like competitively against each other. So and for UK, I don't really know anybody. So
Yeah, I guess I'll ask you this question in a few months, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 troll questions, and then we have one actually good question from John. So I'll ask the 2 troll questions, and also if you remember that, what was that question that Blank asked at the very start of the
Oh,
chat?
I have no idea. He asked something good.
I'll ask you John's question, and we'll answer the meme questions, and I'll scroll up and have a look at that. So John asks, do you feel like there's an understanding gap between the community and the people who run the social media pages and the tournaments? And if you do, what would you change?
I'm not sure if he's talking about Ireland or just like in general, because I think like UK scene they're really good at dealing with that kind of gap right now, like their production quality and what people want to see. Really, like Discord is really good, like Munster and stuff. They're doing a really good job of connecting with their community. In Ireland, I think there's a huge gap between the community and what people. Wait, what was between the community and the people who run the popular social media pages?
So,
yeah,
like,
for sure, huge gap, massive, bigger gap than Costa Corda and fucking I don't know Zeems in the jungle, like massive gap.
Yeah, like the way I feel about it is like when you're taking like the public's perception of an opinion, I feel like the way to look at it is the public is good at diagnosing a problem. You know, like if there is a problem, they will say it, but like they don't know like why there is a problem or how to fix it. You know, this is something that I've thought about like YouTube videos. You know, if people say, "Oh yeah, you know, I was bored," there is probably like, you know, maybe you could have had your intro quicker, or you could have like had a like less in depth and more like, you know, bullet points, section it up like that.
Yeah.
So in a way, I think that casual fans have some, like, they do have a connection, but also there's so much that they don't see behind the scenes. And like even there's a lot of things I didn't know. Like I was looking at some of like the pre-prep game for like the Munster stuff, and there was loads of like timers and numbers for like what sort of path the jungler is going to go to, what they're going to do on this pick, this pick, this pick, this pick. There's so much stuff that I never considered before, and like I sort of thought, not that it wasn't pre-planned, but that it was more like free flowing. And obviously that's sort of like an exception with the jungle role because everybody like has a specific path picked out for their jungler. But I suppose you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's a huge gap between the community though, because like you'll look at like Ice and Raid and what they're doing, and they're like they need sponsors because they need more money to promote what they're doing, and they are promoting the Irish scene, and I really love what they do. I love how much time they put into it. Like it's their passion. That's why they're doing it. Why else would they be spending like the years that they're in right now doing that shit if they didn't like it? It's a tough thing to do at that age. It's not like super stable or anything. And but then at the same time, like catch up XP is a huge example. Like someone said it in chat there. Like, why did they stop catch up XP? The community loved it. It was going well. But they wanted to do something that represented all of sports because that's what they wanted to do. But that's not what was working. People wanted to see catch up XP. If you wanted to do a different show, do a different show. People wanted to watch catch up XP. People loved the skits. People loved the chemistry between Kev and David Wims. And like other stuff, for example, like raid tournaments, like Rebel 1v1. Like there's just like some of it's like it's just such a mess sometimes, and they're trying their best to be like deal with everything quickly, and then there's people that join it that are just being retarded. But they're like, it's the experience that people want the most. Like Quantex, SG, Server 42, they're all big servers in the Irish community. They're the biggest servers. They're your biggest audience that you are guaranteed to like join tournaments, do things. You need to do stuff that are appealing to those type of people. You need to not make them feel like attacked or upset about things. Whether it's what they're doing is right or wrong, like you need to cater for it because they're your community, they're your marketing audience. You have to please them, or what's the point? I think a lot of people, I know they do a lot of hard work, but I think there's a huge misunderstanding in the people that make the tournaments and make things and the players based on like I don't know. They just don't want to know. They don't really care about the players, and they kind of like put themselves up on a pedestal above everyone else. That's what it feels like. I know, like, it sounds like I'm saying that they're like, these awful people, and I know they're not. But like, as a community, as I can see it from both points of views because I've talked to Aiden and I've talked to Husker a lot. I've been to their studio. Like it's just it feels like a disconnect.
Yeah.
Like when I stepped into the studio, it was so cool. I was like, wow, this is dead. It's like a startup. People trying their best about gaming in Ireland. I was like, but it doesn't feel like that from my community bubble that I'm in,
Yeah.
It feels like, oh, these guys just want like to run a tournament, make money, get sponsors. And there's definitely a big disconnect for sure. Like if you saw Super Series tournament, for example, it's like it was a meme tournament, but it was successful in my eyes because everybody like enjoyed the tournament, I thought, and they could play games however they want. The adminning was a bit bullshit, but that's because like Billy doesn't give a shit. But like he's part of the community, and that's what it should feel like. The people running those tournaments should be part of the community, and they're not,
Yeah.
Like I played games with XJ and Aiden the other day. I played Flexi with them, like all those boys, Stark, and I can't remember who was top lane, Puka. I had great crack with them, like we were just having fun, like memeing around. Like I inted mid lane, they're all like question mark, like be like fun BM,
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, that's why people love the game. That's what you need to put into your business. And it's a really good question. I didn't really think about it till this, but like, yeah, it's that.
Like the way I see the catch up XP for like the idea I believe was to sort of develop their own brand and make people interested in catch up because like the Irish LoL people that are seeing it, they're sort of only interested in the Irish LoL sort of scene,
Yeah.
But they wanted to like develop their own audience and their own brand and make them come to like Raid for Raid, not for like Irish scene talk X,
Yeah.
But I think that like they could have moved on from that show, but I think they did it too early. Like they should have kept that show going for like maybe 3, 4, 5 months, maybe even longer. I'm not sure how long it is to develop an audience, but until like they developed like a core set of fans for the raid thing that would stay, and then they could say, okay, this was a success. We've moved on. We've developed like a core baseline of an audience. Now let's go and develop our own raid brand. Because like it's a similar thing with making YouTube videos. You start off by making the videos that are like popular search terms, that people are going to look for. And then as you get bigger and bigger, you start like making it about yourself, making it your own content in your
Brand,
own
yeah.
space.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. It was like watching season 1 of your favorite fucking new show and it ending after episode 3. Like it was
Yeah.
just like boom. I was actually so upset about it, honestly, but yeah, it's crazy.
Um, right. Let's move on to some questions. Kevaman, what do you think about your son Squavo and his general integration in the ILAW scene?
I think Squav. You never that reference in Friends where it's like Phoebe and Monica weren't friends, and then Monica like clawed her way into her life. They had a
Yeah.
big fight about it. That's Squav in the Irish scene. Like, he's like, "Hey guys, hey." He's like your annoying little brother at the start. He's like, "Hey, move me into the Discord. Move me into the no pislos. Like, why'd you have a secret channel? Is it so I can't join?" And it's like, well, and then it's like, drag me in, and it's like, okay.
What do you
And
mean
now it's
secret
like,
channel? There's no secret channel.
yeah, no secret channel. But then it's like, I think that secret channel's gone deleted by now, actually, because people just don't sit in anymore. Oh no, it's still there. But anyway, Squab will be like now. Squab's like part of the SG boys. He's part of the Context boys. He's just good crack, like. And I think a lot of I think our community is very like that. It's kind of unwelcoming at some stages.
Yeah.
People are kind of like, yeah. But yeah, that's Squab. Like, and I mean, I think the Irish scene's integrated. I mean, I feel like I'm integrating more into the Irish scene. Like, I'm way more active in Quantex. Not really in Server 42, but like Quantex is kind of where it's at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's new, and that's what SG was, and that's what Server 42 was like a few years ago. It's fresh, new people, and that's what I like, So yeah, I love Squav.
Squav is a kind soul. I agree.
He is. He's
yeah, Renger has a good point about the catch-up XP thing, that they should do it for at least the duration of a tournament. But like games weren't even being played, so they were sort of like just having to make content on just
it was
random
tough for
stuff.
But they were making good content with what they had, to be fair.
So basically, what I'm saying is, Kev co-host with me, and we'll make our own catch-up XP.
At Bluebullberry.
With blackjack and hookers. I'll forget the blackjack. I'll screw the whole thing. Now, in case anyone takes that out of context, it's a Futurama reference. I hate getting taken out of context. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. All right. Next question from Devils.
Here.
Yeah. Who is the oldest man in the Irish scene? So, Kev, I'll let you do it.
There's only one man who's 1,000,000 years old, and that's John. We all know it.
It's the truth. That's a fact right there. That is a fact. I should get like a fact graphic where it just stamps a fact down on the screen. That'd be great. Okay, so there's a question for me. When will the Moo return to top lane to fight Crep for the 5th place spot on the catch-up XP tier list? That's like, honestly, I've been ashamed. I've been dusted. I'm not even like, how could I ever go up against the almighty Mr. Crepsley, in the top lane? How could I play against a Skarner or a Scion? I am only an honorable mention. I would only get mentioned if there was honor. So like, it's just, I can't do it. I'm done. I'm retired. I'm out. And our colleague says play Lilia into Crep. It wonders why it works. I mean, I'd say Crep is happy that I'm not here because I'm just a Ken and Nar abuser. He hates playing against range champs. Okay. I think that was everything, Kev. That was all the questions. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, Kevaman_lol. I've created a new Instagram for my content that I'm going to be making on my page. I've posted nothing on it because I'm a shit content creator, but I'm trying to dabble in it. Kevaman on YouTube, probably. I'm not sure. Don't look at my YouTube. It has 3 shit clips. Kevaman1 on Twitch.tv, Kevaman1 on Twitch. Everyone knows where that is, of course. And at Kebabman2 on Twitter. So please give me some love, guys. And I'll be streaming all day this week until I go away next week. So, and we can't wait for September. I'm gonna do like 7 24-hour streams like I did last year. So
beautiful. Yeah, you've seen all the plugs down below me. You can also follow me on Twitter at the Moo, at MRGMoo, whatever my name is. It changes like every day. It's fine. Yeah. So thanks very much, Kev. I really appreciate you coming on. I think we had a really good discussion this time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I will see you guys all next week, I guess.